Charles A. Mickey Reeves was born in Wheeling, West Virginia, the son of the late Charles A. Reeves and Nora Reeves Neff. He grew up in Brooke County and lived in the towns of Ellsberg and Follansbee. He graduated from Brooke High School in 1974. Reeves knew he wanted to be a chemical engineer from the time he was a junior in high school. One of his high school friends, Jim Sercone, had graduated a year before him and was attending West Virginia Tech in Montgomery. Reeves decided he would do the same, apply to Tech, and enter the chemical engineering program. He graduated magna cum laude in 1978 with a Bachelor's of Science in Chemical Engineering. During his 4 years at Tech, he was active in the American Institute of Chemical Engineers student chapter, was inducted into Tau Beta Pi, and was a resident assistant in Macklin and Coed halls. Reeves furthered his chemical engineering education at the University of Houston and earned Master of Chemical Engineering in 1986. After graduation, he entered the world of petroleum refining with his first job as a process engineer at Ohio's Toledo, Ohio refinery. After 4 years, Texas called, and he joined a small independent refiner, Texas City Refining in Texas City, Texas. Through a buyout, he joined Fibro Energy and held positions in engineering, planning and economics, operations management, and health, safety and environment at Fibro, Texas City and Houston refineries. In 1995, Reeves made a slight career shift and joined a small refining and petrochemical consulting firm, the IPC Company. He started to work internationally and moved on to Pace Consultants and subsequently Jacobs Engineering. During his 18-year career at Jacobs, he moved from a senior consultant to managing the process engineering department to a Middle East assignment as vice president, refining and petrochemicals. He finished his career at Jacobs as vice president and managing director of Jacobs Consultancy. Most recently, Reeves has been a program director at CH2M. Over the years, Reeves has been active in the South Texas section of the American Institute of Chemical Engineers and was a section chair in 1999. He received the section's Distinguished Service Award in 2008. He was also committee chair of his son's Cub Scout Pack and Boy Scout troop in the early 2000s. One of his biggest sources of pride is the Tech Golden Bear Alumni Association. In 2010, Tech was rebooting the Alumni Association, and he volunteered to be on the board of directors. He was the new association's first president and has been active with the association ever since. Most recently, he has been very active in the formation of the Golden Bear Alumni Association Scholarship Fund. Reeves and his wife Agnes reside in Houston, Texas, and they are frequent visitors to the Tech campus. Nikki, please come to the podium to accept the award on behalf of the WVU Tech Leonard C. Nelson College of Engineering and Sciences.
Thank you, Dean Z. I have to thank you all for the recognition and the honor and the support that you've given me over the years. To be part of this distinguished group, and when you look at the names in the program that the people have had this award in the past, I mean, it's just mind-boggling to be part of it. It really is. And part of it is I'm being honored for something that I simply like to do. I love doing this. I love coming here. For those that you know me, I'm a little bit fascinated and maybe even obsessed with about how we get to where we are. And as Dean Z said, one of my childhood friends, Jim Sercone, and a lot of you know Jim. Jim was professor of electrical engineering here at Tech, and I think even for a while he was dean of engineering. Jim and I have known each other since we were about 12 years old. And I was talking to Dean Brown the other night, and we were talking about Jim, and Jim and I played the drums in the Brooke High School band. And Dean Brown said, well, I didn't know Jim played the drums. I says, oh yeah, Jim and there was others, we used to have drum sets and we used to take them to each our parents' houses and we thought we were making good music, and in reality it's probably a lot of noise. But Jim was a year older than me, and he went to Tech. I was a senior, he was a freshman here when I was still a senior in high school. And you know, I heard from him periodically. He'd come home, he'd tell me about Tech, and he did a good selling job, and I enrolled at Tech. I originally thought I was going to go to, I thought about going to University of Cincinnati at the time, and Jim convinced me otherwise, and I came to Montgomery. You know, over the years, I said, one of the things that I've learned over the years is that we're all, who we are is the people we've contacted over the years and people we've met and known. You know, they all touch us for a bit. And this tech education that I got has done me well, has done me quite well. And one of my favorite professors, Dr. Crum, I'm just so glad to see you here tonight. Yesterday during the Dr. Nelson presentation, and Nelson family, I'm glad you're here. In Dr. Nelson's inauguration speech, there was some comment about we were creating softies and we needed to do that. Dr. Crum, I think, heard that speech. Because he made nothing easy about chemical engineering. He made nothing easy about chemical engineering. He once took 5 points off of a perfect chemical engineering lab report because I had a misspelled word. and he did that. Well, the fact that I'm talking about that 40 years later means something, because I carried that on, and young engineers that worked for me knew that I did not tolerate misspelled words and bad grammar. Even in an email. You know, I don't tolerate that, and I don't tolerate it. So he left me with something, not just chemical engineering, but left me, you know, something about management and dealing with people and everything. So Carolyn talked about the ROI on a tech education. I think going to school here in the mid-'70s, I think I came out of here less than $10,000 all in, spending money, beer at Benny's and everything else, probably less than $10,000 for a 4-year education. So I hadn't calculated the ROI on that, but I'm sure it's pretty darn good. And you know, compared to other places, one of the things I've learned, I've lived in Houston most of my life, and I've competed against chemical engineers that went to the University of Texas or Texas A&M or Rice University, all great engineering schools. And what I learned here was just as I learned, if more than what they've learned. We were taught by full professors. They're taught by graduate students. And that's some value that the tech education brought that you don't get in the big schools. And there's just that personal relationship that you have. Someone else I want to recognize tonight is it's my mom and dad. My mom and dad didn't go to college. And I was the first one in my immediate family to do so. My mom and dad, my mom was 20 and my dad was 21 when I was born. So they're pretty young. You know, that was back in the 50s, but still, you know, they're pretty young. But my sister and I talk about something that they did not give us a choice when it came to going to college. It wasn't if you were going to college, it's when you went to college. And my sister and I talk about that to this day. So for two people that did not go to college, did not have the education, they put that value of education and knowing how to do something with my sister and me. And it's something that, you know, I've carried with me my whole life, and I always remember that. And I think it's important for us to, you know, for our children that they don't have to go to college, but know how to do something and pass that on, that you have to know how to do something. One of the things that I believe in is that if someone does something nice for you, you need to give something back. And one of the places I've chosen to give something back to is West Virginia Tech. With my time with the Tech Golden Bear Alumni Association, I think it's important. I really do. I think it's important. And part of it is because I know the tech education's been very good to me. The Tech Golden Bear Alumni Association has become my tech home. That's how I think of it. It's become my tech home. I told someone the other night, I said, you know, you can take the boy out of West Virginia, but you can't take West Virginia out of the boy. And to this day, when people ask me, you said, where are you from? They say, are you from Texas? I says, no, I live in Texas, but I'm from West Virginia. That's where I'm from. So, you know, if you're not an alumni member, sign up. I am the vice president of membership for the alumni board, so sign up. And you know, one of the things that Dr. Z mentioned is that, you know, the Tech Golden Bear Alumni Association, we're sponsoring a scholarship. And this scholarship is to give scholarships to Tech alumni, relatives of Tech alumni that reside in West Virginia. You know, West Virginia is going through some tough times, and if we can help provide an alumni's relative, could be a son, a daughter, a brother, a sister, a cousin, I think we included everybody, that, and him, you know, being West Virginia, that could cover a lot of people, that if we can help provide someone with an education, let's do that. So go on to the alumni, you find a place where you can go donate if you wish to. So let's continue the legacy. I mean, Carolyn mentioned that too. Let's continue the legacy. Yeah, we got a good thing going again. The enrollment's up. We got a lot of great news. Let's continue the legacy. And that's all I have to say. So everybody have a good night, and thank you once again for this great honor.